I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is a review for Antonio. And I appreciate everyone who has sent me requests either via my PayPal directly or by joining my Patreon and requesting a video to be review, re-review, movie topic. Again, you'd either do it either join my Patreon or requesting it directly via my PayPal. Really appreciate that. And Antonio wanted me to talk about Crash. At first split second, I thought he meant the David Cronenberg film. But no, this is the 2004 film, which I was a bit leery on it because I know this is the film that won an Oscar, and there's a lot of controversy because people went, this movie won. I think at the time, people really wanted Brokeback Mountain to win. I actually enjoyed this film quite a bit. I mean, yeah, heavy-handed. You should say that, yeah, to put it slightly. Pretty damn heavy-handed, I will admit, about racism and tolerance. But you know what? It is a subject that I can see working for a movie. And I thought, even though many people will call it heavy-handed, I still liked the flick. I could see this film being extremely controversial if it was released today. Granted, people say minded or not as in-depth or not as, what's the term I'm looking for? I thought it dealt with the fact that everybody, whatever race, color, creed you are, is susceptible to that. And that everybody, it's not just whites, it's not just black persons, not just everybody. There are people that have issues with that, and everybody has to rise above that in order to, not just this or that, or this or that, but everybody. And it showcases that because you have everyone showing their flaws and everyone, or pretty much everyone, trying to rise up and be better. And it examines bigotry amongst this group of characters. And what really helped was the direction, the music, and especially the cast. Because you got Matt Dillon, who did a wonderful job. You got Don Cheadle, who I do think is a good actor. You have Terrence Howard, Thandie Newton, Lorenz Tate, Ludacris, Sandra Bullock, Brendan Fraser. Quite a few people in this. Tony Danza makes an appearance in this. Michael Peña. There's one or two characters I don't think you needed, which I'll get to, but overall, I was invested in the story. I was invested to see what would happen next. I was invested in seeing the ugly side of these characters, and also, in a weird, this don't sound sentimental, but the hope that the people can change. And that may be optimistic, and I'm usually a fairly cynical guy, but for a movie, it's nice to see. That's not 100% gloom and doom. And yeah, I know that could be construed as being very over sentimental. I believe me, there are films I find over sentimental. Patch Adams, Bicentennial Man, among others. But this, I was fine with. And it deals with bigotry pretty head on. Like Don Cheadle's girlfriend and this other lady who's Asian. And she, I forget the actress's name. I recognize the other actress's name, who's Don Cheadle's girlfriend. They're arguing back and forth. And the Asian says something about Mexican drivers. And then, well, you do your blake lights. And then she's making fun of the Asian lady. Oh yeah, my blake lights? You mean my brake lights? Blah, blah, blah. And sadly, this is something that you can see happening not only back then, but in today. And in fact, you do say the movie is a bit more prevalent in today's age. Granted, it's maybe a subject people are a bit, oh God, I don't want to see this subject because of all the bullshit that goes on. But at the same time, I still think the movie did its job fairly well. And maybe sometimes you do need something a bit heavy-handed to get the point across. I mean, I enjoy this more than, say, The Brother from Another Planet. I mean, it didn't try to do the same thing, but that was a movie I saw recently that tried to do a message examining some characters' lives. But this I thought was much more, well, it's not fair to say visual level because it had a bigger budget. Although not a humongous budget, but bigger compared to the other one. But, you know, the cast, I was interested in most of the characters. You have Sandra Bullock and Brendan Fraser. Sandra Bullock's not in the film too much. She's in it for 5-7 minutes sprinkled throughout. But her and Brendan Fraser, their car gets stolen, and some bigotry shows out of Sandra Bullock. Oh, I knew those people would do this, and you know, I don't want that guy. Michael Peña's here. I don't want that guy changing our lives. I want our lives changed. He's probably going to sell them to his game bangers. Michael Peña kind of looks at her. Then afterward, he fixes the lock and puts both keys down and leaves because he's a decent person. And Brendan Fraser is even telling her, oh, this is ridiculous. Come on, ease up on that. Michael Peña is a locksmith who has a daughter, and he argues with this Persian shop owner who later his shop gets screwed up and he thinks Michael Peña had something to do with it. Terrence Howard and Thandie Newton are a couple. They get stopped by Matt Dillon and Ryan Phillippe from I Know What He Did Last Summer. And Matt Dillon, I would definitely say of the actors, he did the best job in the movie. Because at the beginning of the film, he was a creep. He's very bigoted. He tells stories about, oh, well, you know, my father, because of, you know, minorities, blah, blah, blah. You blame it on other people sort of mentality. And then with this power of being a cop, he feels up Thandie Newton. Says, okay, this guy's a scumbag. But I like that the film, it does paint people at least a little bit more three-dimensional than I've seen in other movies, because, again, maybe people say it's heavy-handed or it's not as three-dimensional as I make it out to be. But then for Matt Dillon later on, he's not just a one-note villain. He is a guy who will do his job. And later on, Thandie Newton's in trouble, on fire, and he tries to save her. And of course, she's like, no, get away from me. Don't you dare touch me. And Matt Dillon sincerely, hey, I need to get you out. And, you know, gets her out. Whether that changes his perspective through his life onward, I wish the movie dealt a bit more into that. So I do wish there was a bit more about, maybe because his character was the most interesting. I wish there was a bit more of his character in the movie, especially in the second half of the film. Or I should say, at least in the third act of the film. I wish there was more to him. Maybe showcase a bit more whether he's going to change his act, so to speak, change his behavior moving forward. like Sandra Bullock's character, she changes it because she falls down the stairs, and the one person who helped her is a person that she chastised earlier. And she's like, all these people I called friends for years, they did help. And, you know, she hugs her and says some nice things to her. Terrence Howard, who witnessed all this with his wife, Thandie Newton, you tell he's a character that kind of is trying to move the other cheek, and you tell it's building up with this character. I mean, he's even a guy that directs, I believe, a TV show, and at one point he's directing a TV show, and Tony Danza, which, God, I haven't seen Tony Danza in a while. I mean, this is 2004, but still. He goes up to Tony Danza and he literally says, oh, he didn't say the line black enough. Which, you know, that's what happens, sad to say, in real life. That's what happens. People are that dumb and ignorant, and you tell Terrence Howard wants to say something, but he kind of, and he goes along with it. And then there's a scene where that sort of reaches a breaking point for him. Kind of wish he would have gotten his come up as onto Tony Danza for saying that stupid shit, but still, I like the scenes with Terrence Howard later in the film. I won't give everything away in this review. You know, there's at least a little bit more dimension to these characters. Ryan Phillippe, Ludacris. I thought the music was fairly solid. In fact, after this, I want to look up the soundtrack to this movie. I thought it was a good-looking film. Like I said, I kept me interested to see what would happen next. It's sort of a mix of all these character stories interchanging. Yeah, like Don Cheadle's a cop. He's a different cop. I just try and find how to word it without giving everything away in the third act. I mean, my issues, I think there's a couple characters you could have taken out. I hate to say it, the Persian shopkeeper and the girl that's with him, I think all that could have been easily taken out. I get you want to represent all the races, but it's not as if one of these characters are, say, a major Asian character. I bring that up by saying, don't give me the excuse, well, you gotta put as many nationalities as possible. Well, yeah, but you can use that with Michael Peña, as well as Terrence Howard, as well as Don Cheadle, as well as Brendan Fraser, as well as Sandra Bullock, as well as Ludacris. The Persian shopkeeper story was just the least interesting to me. Pretty much he thinks this guy did something. He goes to shoot. He realizes there's blanks in it. And he realizes he made a mistake, and thankfully, because he didn't realize there was blanks in the gun, it didn't go any worse. But just, I would rather you take that out and spend more on Matt Dillon's character. Or these other characters, to flesh them out a little bit more in the third act. Like a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say resolution. Just like a little bit more for each of the characters. A little bit more screen time for some, like a little bit more of, maybe a little bit more Terrence Howard's character. A little bit more of Don Cheadle's character. A little bit more of Matt Dillon's character. And yeah, I just think that shopkeeper just wasn't the most interesting story. It was the least interesting story in the movie. I don't want to give that away. I mean, I know this got a lot of people mad when it won. I mean, with being the Oscars, every year the ones I would choose would never get nominated. I mean, fuck, from Jacob's Ladder, I think, should have been nominated for Best Picture and Best Acting, Tim Robbins. Academy Award do that? No. I mean, Academy Award didn't even nominate John Carpenter's The Thing for special effects. Makeup effects. Effects that people consider some of the best effects of all time wasn't even nominated. I mean, what was it? The Madonna song? Was the Madonna song for Dick Tracy won over Blaze of Glory? Because they was in Young Guns too. Who the fuck remembers that Madonna song from Dick Tracy? But a lot more people remember the song from, you know, even if you don't remember Young Guns 2, you remember Going Down in a Blaze of Glory. More people remember that fucking song, and I guarantee you more people like that fucking song than the Madonna song. I don't even care to remember the name of the Madonna song from fucking Dick Tracy. If you don't nominate a Madonna song, at least do At Close Range, that song, not fucking songs in Dick Tracy. Does anyone even remember the fucking song? So I thought Searching with John Cho deserved some love. Both John Cho and the movie. Because I'm sorry, it's a better movie than Black Panther. People can be mad at me all they want. I looked at Searching, I looked at Black Panther. I'm sorry, I think Searching is a better movie. It's a better movie in its story and what it made me feel. Being different and unique. It's a lot more unique film than Black Panther. Another superhero kind of origin story with shades of The Lion King and maybe Coming to America. And, well, to be fair, you say the same with Searching, where there's Unfriended and other movies. I mean, to be fair on that. So maybe negate that. But just, it's subjective. It's my opinion. I can only give my opinion. I like that movie. I mean, what I'm getting at is like Blade Runner 2049, I think should have gotten more. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm sure people out there can name various other ones. Stallone should have got something for Copland. Considering some people say I hate Stallone, I love many Stallone's films. I think Stallone should have gotten something for Copland. It was a fantastic performance. But hey, what do I know? I'm just getting to the fact that I've always thought the Oscars were bullshit. So, okay, this won and people got pissed at it. Good. Good. I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, sadly, it's not like it did the movie any favors because no one remembers this film to this day. You never hear people talk about Crash. But you know what? I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I watched it. I rather enjoyed it. And nice collection of characters, great cast, some nice music that fit the film well, good score, has a nice message to it, whether you think it's heavy-handed or too on the nose. In this case, I was fine with it. Maybe because of the acting, maybe because I liked the cast, maybe because I liked how the film looked, maybe because all of the other elements, I was fine with it. So... And yeah, I would say of the cast, I liked Matt Dillon the most in his acting performance. But I like Matt Dillon. You don't see him a lot nowadays. He did a serial killer movie. I forget what name it is. I know it got a lot of controversy, although I don't remember why. I don't remember why it got controversy. I forget what the hell the movie was called, but either way, I liked him as an actor. It was cool to see him. I wish there was more of him. That's one of my nitpicks. Ryan Phillippe didn't do bad. I mean, I'm not a big Ryan Phillippe guy, but I don't think he did a bad job in the movie. For what he was supposed to do, he did fine. Yeah, the only characters I didn't care for were the shopkeepers. And I just felt like a story that it felt a bit too cluttered for stories, and that's one you could have been taken out and just flesh out the other stories a bit more. But that's just me. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.